guys. Okay, so it's time for me to start my video series that I'm going to be doing over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be broadcasting from my business page, but I'm always going to be sharing it on my personal page so that everybody kind of catches everything. So one of the questions that everybody asks me, hey Rodney, one of the questions that everybody asks me is how much cardio do I need to do to lose weight? So I'm going to talk about just 3 key points on this. So the first thing to understand about cardio is that it is entirely dose specific to the person. So it's basically impossible for me to sit here and say that there's like any one particular number that's like this magic number that you need to do in order to lose weight, how much it's this much cardio. It's never going to be one consistent number for everybody. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors. It's going to depend on your goals, really. Do you have body composition goals? Do you have muscle training or muscle building goals? Do you have health goals? Is this strictly a cardiovascular goal for you? So we need to identify what your goals are because it's impossible to say what that number is going to be, just, generally speaking. So that's the first key. The first key is it's going to be dose specific to the person, and it's going to be entirely dependent on your goals. Simon. So do you have any questions on that before I move on? Okay, so I'm going to move on to number 2. So the other part, or the other key to really understanding cardio and utilizing it appropriately, is understanding that there is a recovery element to cardio that you have to pay attention to. So you can only do as much cardio as your body can recover from. So for some people, that may mean very little cardio. For other people, that may mean that you can handle a lot of cardio. And those are people that might be athletes. So if you're someone that's very athletic, you have a lot of athletic endurance, you may be able to do, 45 minutes to an hour of cardio and recover and not have any detrimental effects to your health in any other places. So that's going to be okay for you. But for other people, 45 minutes to an hour of cardio is just going to drive them into the ground. And it's a matter of weeks before they can actually recover from the session. So you're not doing yourself any good at all. So your cardio dose is going to be directly proportionate to your ability to recover from the cardio. So that's something really important to keep in mind. So if you're doing cardio, a lot, and you're noticing that you're getting really sore, you suddenly can't go for as long or as intensely as you were previously, and that number and time and everything else starts to drop off like this, that means that you're not recovering from your cardio appropriately. So that's a really big red flag that you're going to need to dial it back and give yourself a chance to recover. You may even need to cut your cardio in half, or you may need to just walk for a week or 2 to let your body recover, because it's very important that you have full recovery, because that's going to impact literally everything else that you're trying to do for your health. So the last point that I'm going to bring up tonight is that I think this is really easy for anybody to get stuck in, but you really don't want to get stuck in the binge, cardio, starve cycle, which a lot of people can get stuck in. So they might see cardio as this awesome tool where they can undo this giant, smorgasbord of food that you had over the weekend, but it doesn't really work that way. So people will have this giant amount of food, and they'll do it, let's say like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday rolls around and they feel really guilty about it. Maybe they hopped on the scale, maybe the scale is even up a couple pounds, maybe a lot of pounds, and they're like, shoot, first thing I gotta do, I gotta get to the gym and I gotta put in my hour of cardio and undo everything I did. But it doesn't work that way. You really are playing a very touchy, dangerous game if you start to operate like that, because the body is, it's going to get kind of smart to that after a while, and it's going to be almost impossible for you to burn off literally everything that you ate. I have a great video I'm going to post on this, where a man literally eats an entire pizza in the same amount of time that a man runs a full-out sprint on a treadmill, and the amount of calories that the man eating the pizza consumes is not even remotely close to the amount of calories that this man burns on the treadmill in a full-out sprint. Some of you may have seen it before, but I'm going to post that. So what people will do is they'll get into this, binge cardio and then starve cycle, where they realize the cardio isn't going to undo what they did, and then they start starving themselves. and then a couple of days go by, and then they can't take it anymore, and then they binge again because they're literally starving, and then they're back to doing hours and hours of cardio, and then it just becomes this really vicious cycle, and it can happen to anybody. It can be very well-intentioned people, but it can still happen nonetheless. So those are my 3 tips on cardio tonight. So check the video that I'm going to post at the bottom. You really want to watch it, and it demonstrates better than anything that it's impossible to burn off what you ate. If you ate an entire pizza, you're going to have a very hard time burning it off. So just remember that. Okay, have a good night, guys, and the rest of my videos this week.